competitive prices. Tune in daily to catch Luntha Television on Zuko on Channel 51, Starsat Channel 474, Star Times Channel 474, Topstar 474, Kliye Kliye, Zero on our YouTube and Facebook platforms. You can find us in Area 2 Lilongwe or can reach us on 0883-815-055. Come, let us help you grow your business. Luntha Television.
Our vision, one of the main challenges is the lack of political will. Because on says is kufuna leadership. Do we have the political leadership that is going to drive us to implement what we have set up to implement in MIP1 or towards 2063? Zon says just when makamba guti governance, where do we invest and so on. I think it has to be to do with political will. So anyway, we have gotten some right statements from the president saying if you don't perform, you'll be out. Okay, and you extended by saying those who don't perform should be held to account. And it is civil society which has to stand up and ensure that we drive the political will, but also we enhance the accountability, including social accountability, by the way. And I think this is where I think the National Audit Commission office recently launched the citizen engagement strategy. I think that is an opportunity because the new government would like now to send more money to the local government. A lot of money. We are hearing of 5 billion going to the constituencies. That's a lot of money. Someone has to be accountable for that money if it goes to the constituencies. And the citizens, they have to be armed with information to be able to engage in that. So whatever you have mentioned, our failures to achieve, to take off, even for programs to take off, it is an issue related to political will. We need to challenge the mindset and political will. I think these are two critical elements that we need to address as a country, but also as the civil society. Secondly, I think you challenged us when you were mentioning issues to do with the loans, investment, and so on. I think our education system, the curriculum that we have followed since independence, has betrayed us because we see opportunities, but we are not able to take chances or risks. Because investing is very much related to taking risks, but also having better understanding of what investment is about. What does it mean to buy shares? What does it mean to take loans from the banks amidst the high interest rate that we have? So there is an opportunity. The Malawi Institute of Education has just developed a new curriculum framework, which is moving towards promoting entrepreneurship, critical thinking, ensuring risk management, problem solving, the solutions that we are asking for. Maybe this new curriculum will help us to achieve that. But again, if we don't have political will to implement this new curriculum, then I think we'll continue to be beggars or will not be able to move anywhere. The change in mindset amidst free things that we are promoting is also something which we need to look at. We are looking at free education, free medical care, free fertilizer, free whatsoever. This thing was highlighted in MGDS 1, 2, and so on. And we are also promoting the same, okay, right now. Of course, we want to build our capacity, but the element of free may also hinder us from achieving self-reliance. I think this is something that we need to look at and we need to interrogate. Yes, maybe the free things should have a limit or should be tied to some conditions of good performance, of good quality, so that we can achieve more around that. Otherwise, no, thanks for challenging us in your presentation, and I think moving forward, we should be able to take some of the recommendations in our strategy going forward. Thank you.
First of all, thank you very much, Doc. Every time you stand in front to make a presentation, I'm encouraged and reminded that a short man is not a boy. Because your presentations are full of wisdom and just a lot of information. But since we are here talking about oversight, I just wanted to know how much powers do you have as the National Planning Commission? Does it end on just advising, or does it extend somewhere, perhaps maybe taking to task the executive or the responsible people, or maybe Podamati, the responsibility of the advisee just ends on their discretion? Could it mean that they can take up the advice or not? Or do you have the power? Could it not be because as the doc here was saying, we give people free fertilizer, and then omweaja njala ikawagwira timapasa sochimanga chaulere omweaja soto kwapasa ntukula pakhomo like that munatungo tenga ndalama throwing in a drain. How much powers do you have? And secondly, muna budget yanu pachaka, annual budget, how much is it? Kufuna kufunsa kuti tuone kodi to date, is it worth having NPC mzikomo? If muna kulipo kuti we are spending much, tinakambia nazulo kuti muna we are spending much to collect taxes, and then we are using just the same amount in collecting the taxes. Are we not hiring a jet pilo kagula nkhwani kunsika? So how much are you spending as the NPC, whether from UNDP, which gives you a large chunk of your funding, of course, which you get that on behalf of Malawians, but how much do you get from UNDP, from government of Malawi, and then we see if it is worth going forward. Thank you very much.
Okay. Actually, my question is also connected to him. You've shown us the misalignment of plans versus budgets. So yes, you've challenged all of us to take government to account, even ourselves, to make sure that we realize our vision. But since we've still trusted you with this plan, I wanted to know, when these things happen, how have you engaged with government to make sure that they are following the plan? Also, if you can just share us examples of where you have successfully engaged government, where you saw that there was deviations from the plans, and now you've engaged them and they are back on track. And if that did not happen, what actions have you taken to make sure that at the end of the day, our duty bearers are holding to the plans that we make? And if they're failing, what actions have you taken?
So we can reserve the two. Let me do that. But I can respond to these three. Mine is not complicated. We just need straight to the point.
Yes. Thank you, Doctor. For the presentation, well analyzed. I'm looking at social sector. We have the whole social protection program in the country, and when we are engaging the directors and the economic planning as responsible for social protection programs, one of the things that I highlighted was currently World Bank reduce funding towards the social protection from $550 million to $150 million. And this was a big lamentation from government. However, this issue is not been spoken amongst government departments. those responsible for implementation of the social protection programs. When asked them, it seemed that they are hiding that the World Bank cut some of the resources. My point there is, as the National Planning Commission, what are you advising the government when it comes to the social sector interventions? Number two, what levels, or what should I ask, mphamvu zanu zimatera pati when trying to advise, for example, the development partners who invest in this country towards social protection interventions? Why I'm saying this is, it seems that there is a lot of resources that are coming in versus the little impact that is happening on the ground. The poverty that we're talking about, 4 million people suffering from hunger, could be the story of the past, because these people are also the targeted people when it comes to the social protection interventions, though they are only targeting the 10% for example, for the social cash transfer. But I'm looking at the National Planning Commission. There's a lot of resistance when we, the civil society organization, trying to put the fact straight to the development partners. For example, they insist in the procedures in terms of the transfers. For example, hiring the companies that could do electronic transaction, of which the funds compared the hiring of companies versus the transfers, it seems that a lot of money goes to the companies, not the beneficiaries themselves. So I'm just looking at the whole aspect of social protection. For example, if you engage, maybe, I know you already maybe met the Madonna Trust Fund on social protection. Does it indeed add value when it comes to trying to reduce issues of, for example, poverty amongst the ultra-poor household in the country? So I'm just looking at that whole aspect. Thank you. Maybe just again on the issue of private sector. I know that the private sector is doing corporate social responsibility, but there's no rules attached to it. They can do it or they can't. So I'm looking at if there was any arrangement in terms of concrete procedures that could bind the private sector to have indeed resources that could go back to the community, not as usual. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to re-echo the appreciation from the House, we feel a bit more educated about the National Planning Commission and the entire plan, the 2063 plan. Looking at the pie chart that you presented, if we were to speak without holding back, we would conclude that this project so far is a failure. I'm sorry that I'm saying it at the, you know, like if we were to speak without looking at 34% of the projects being slow, only 4% achieved, which is non-essential in a sense. And then I think about 14% that have not yet taken off almost 5 years later into the 10-year plan. Now, I'm building up on the questions from the two, I think the gentleman over there and my sister here, in terms of the powers that you have to enforce or to make sure that the plan, because whatever the case, I'm sure the Malawians, the fingers will point at you at the end of 10 years. Yes, you say it's a corporate vision, we are all responsible, but you could tell even from the room here, This is supposed to be probably the cream. Very few really know what is happening, which means we rely more on the commission to drive this vision. And I'm sure that's why money is being spent on the commission and the donors are supporting. So the question is on the powers, what can you do? Number two, in your own review, how can you say the commission has contributed to the non-performance? I'm sorry, I'm using a bit of hard words, but we're just looking at the trajectory. I'm sure you've done an audit, you've been able to present what was supposed to be done vis-a-vis what has been done. Was there an introspection on the commission? What can the commission do better in the next 4 years so that by 2030 we can tell a different story? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Just on the same, in a way, I've been helped so much by the presentation. Thank you so much, Doc. On the same, I think it seems as it is a norm. I don't know, maybe it's my perspective, but it seems as if it is a norm, more especially for those that are working in the government, to be working less hours, and then they forget and do other things. When you move around, these stories are there, and people talk about that. It's good to work in the government because you don't have much pressure. People talk about these things, and now it has been also been echoed through your presentation that there are elements whereby people can just sit on papers that are supposed to be signed and then do nothing about it. Where do we come in? More especially for those that are employed, either in the government, that are in those commissions or whatever places. Where do we come in so that at least we begin to see things moving? Because it's so painful sometimes when you look at beautiful papers that Malawians always produce to make sure that things move. But at the end of the day, nothing happens. Where do we come in? I think as the CSOs, as the clergy, or as a nation?
I think before you tackle this, I also want just to check on the relationship that is there between NPC and political parties once they now come into government. Where do you stop or continue from? We've just heard that we have a chief advisor on manifesto implementation, and the manifestos went through your office. How do you intend to work with such kind of offices? Thank you.
Because that's the end. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation that you have shared with us. I'm interested with the human capital. Have you done any analysis to see if the current civil servants that we have can support the implementation of the vision, Malawi Vision 2063? Because we have seen that government has recruited so many qualified people, but on the ground, things are not ticking. Observation, it seems that the civil servants are managing the politics in the government. They know how to collaborate with the current political leadership. If someone is in the black, they'll just join a black color. If someone is in the red, they just join the red. What do I mean? You find that we have qualified people who are failing to advise the politicians.
or the people who are appointed as a political leadership to spearheading development in the country. NPS has ever done that research to find out that we have these people who are they really doing the right job or the right work they are intended to do? My colleague was saying many of them are not working maybe 8 hours, some are working 30 minutes and so on and so forth. This tells us that we have so much people who are not doing the right work in their respective ministries or sectors. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think some of those things we can take them bilaterally. I have got 13 issues to respond to or comment about. So a lot of them are misdirected, and I understand why they are misdirected. It means not all of you know. And a lot of them are coming from what you hear from the spaces. So it's going to be difficult to substantively respond to them, because I also wouldn't want to put myself on the spot on something that does not have something that we can discuss about on the table. So, but I'll try to tackle those that I can manage to tackle. I think Dr. Nsabato's comments were observations to say that the vision definitely will require a lot of political will, and the challenge is that there's a simple definition of work. What is work? No. What is power? Hey, power is what? Ability to do work. So I just want to give an example, and I pray that you should see me what I'm doing. So I'm holding this phone and I'm pushing it this direction. There are two things that I'm doing here, or that I have, that is enabling the movement of this phone. The first one is that I've got what? Power, right? Two, the movement is in a certain direction, right? A defined direction. You can actually say that I'm pushing it forward or backward. So what am I trying to illustrate there is any kind of work that needs to be done, it needs power, and for something to be seen to have taken place, it needs a plan, right? As a country, we already have a blueprint, which is a plan, okay, which tells us what we need to do to be where we want. And then there is the power part, and that's where Dr. Nsabato's comment is coming in to say political will is very important. Why? It's the politicians who have got power. Am I right about that? Who gave them the power? Oh, guys, answer me. Who gave these politicians power? It's us. So if we miss it at the time that we were actually putting them in place, do you think we can have a say when they are on that place? So that goes down to when you are electing these leaders and giving them the responsibility. So it's the role of the civil society to orient or to teach or to open the understanding of everyone that is providing power to those that we have given power. Because finally, timamba nokuma yangana nukunena kuti okay, ngati akulephereka kukwira zimene tinauzazo ndekuti ndi udindo wanu. Yeah. The first thing is udindo wathu. Anthu ambiri kumalawi kunoko mwina sitimakhala ndi information yokwanira yotithandiza kupanga chisankho choyenera, particularly when it comes to giving anthu amene akuyeneka akatipangire zinthu. Zinthu zonena kupangira wina umafunika tu munthu amene ukumubuza kuti akapange uja ukukhulupirira kuti akatani kodi akapanga. So that's nothing to do with iyeyo. It's something to do with you, because amene akupereka ntchito kunena kuti ukapange si iyeyo, it's you. Ndipereke chisanzo chomveka bwino kuti kuchokera ku masankho eti ena mwa inu mwaona anthu amene asankhidwa mukumata amusankha uyu ndiye ayitu. Inu mukuti ndiye ayi chifukwa chani? Chifukwa cha zimene mukuganizira zoti munthu uja akachita kapena sachita. So civil society ili ndi udindo waukulu kuwathandiza anthu kupanga zisankho zachani kodi zowathandiza pamoyo wa tsiku ndi particularly kwa iwo amene akuyimirira kuti apangire zinthu. Chifukwa amene aja mukasankha tikuwapasa mphamvu zonena kuti mwina akazipanga abuse ineweyo yonena kuti zidzatipwetekanso ife tomwe kati tonse kaya. So udindo wayambirira si wama institutions, udindo wayambirira ndi ife anthu. Ife amene noti civil society tili ndi udindo waphunzitsa anthu kwazindikiritsa onena kuti mukuzoti chisankho chimene muchipanga panopa ndi chisankho chimene chitapereke moyo kapena imfa kwa inuyo. Ngati sangamve ndiye ndi vuto la ndani kodi? Ndi vuto lawo chifukwa kuti ngati sukumva atakudzudzula tinene momveka apapa. Ngati munthu akukudzudzula kuti izizi usapange ndiye sukumva ukapweteka umpanga blame nda. It's you to blame yourself. So ningomaliza chifukwa ndinakupasani nthawi ndiye ineyo panopa ndikuyankha zimene munanena zija. Zikakhala zinazo we can talk outside this room. So the first things first is to make sure our people know what they are doing. And the one who can understand democracy ndi zinthu zochokera kunja izi. Si choncho? Ife timangokhupira kukhani mafumu. Si choncho? So zabwerazi zimene zikuyendesa dziko ndi nzeru za azungu. Koma nzeru za azungu zonzone kuti tikuwauza anthu akumizi kuti apange monga mene mzungu wankaganizira poyika chinthu ngati chimene chicha. Who will be able to explain to them? It's you amene mukuzimvesera amene mwapita ku school. So we need to help creating that kind of, there is still the question of accountability, right? Anthu amapezeka kuti akumuvotera munthu or akumpasa munthu udindo amene chithunzi chake cha mbuyo mu ntchito zimene wachita sizikuonesa kuti munthu otani kodi othandiza. Why do they do that? Is their own weakness in terms of analysis ya zinthu. So anthu afike pa stage yomanena kuti chisankho chimene tikupanga lero tikusankha mankhwala, tikusankha chakudya zimene zili moyo wanga wamawa ndi nkuja kupita kutsogolo. Tikadzafika pa stage imeneyo mafunso amene akubwera pa pasazabwera. Chifandena kunena kuti before we even talk about National Planning Commission, Ministry of Health, Department of Human Resource, we will go to a member of parliament in the community. Tinasankha uja councillor uja kuti zimene tinkagwirizana ndizi. So panopa ena amene tikukhala crop of vision inayamba inatani imene inazizira. Anthu mwayankhulapo kena kalikonse. So we shouldn't first of all start talking about my institutions. Let's look at where we sit now with those that we have given power to change the situation over us. And civil society, that's their responsibility. Because in siningapite kwa mafumu kuti mfumu ini mukuoneka kuti mupanga zandale ndiyambira pati. It's not even within my mandate to do that. So tiphunzire kupanga address my issues right away from the very root of it. Anthu athu sakudziwa za democracy zangobwera zikungotibalalisa pena ndi pena ndiye ndi umphawi ena angogwiritsa ntchito umphawi omwewo kutipotoza maganizo ndi zisankho zathu kumapeto kwake chituko sichikutani kodi sichikutheka. In case in point, muli ni member of parliament anakumangirani bridge ja lero ndi nkhuku yomwe singadusepo chifukwa inafoshoka akubwera kuzapangaso contest. Why would you let that someone go ahead kupanga contest? I mean practically. So these are things that you should be addressing right at the very basic level of society. But we gave you a chance. Panopo funa upange compete for what reasons? You failed. You didn't deliver. So you shouldn't even be given a chance to upanga. So these are things that we need to be speaking. Ndi anthu athu ma communities medu upanga now. Even in the urban setting. Simapereka ma city rates. What is the status of services? Zimene zimachokera kuma institutions amenewo. What do we do about it? So it's our job to take those in the authorities responsible. Anafus ndiende mundondomeko kuti saiwale. So political will imakhalabo at the time of the campaign. That's what they will tell you. When you give them the power, you also have a responsibility, because this is a democracy, to question. You have and the civil society and the many mphamvu yopanga question iboma. They will give you a platform. Problem ndionena kuti taperekaso chithunzi kwa boma lonena kuti tikanena kuti civil society anthu amene akulamulira boma chama yamboganiza kuti awawa afuna zilimbana ndi ndani. This attitude needs to change. So as the mindset needs to change. As civil society, we should stop to be reactionary. We should begin to offer what? Dialogue in a manner that doesn't make someone feel like munthu uyu andipweteka kumapeto kwake. Okay? So sikuti ndikukana zimene munena zindizona koma ifeso tikhale ndi innovative ways of convincing a politician to say, wow, looks like we are working in the same direction with these guys. That's an approach that we should try to take to win their political will. Other than that, ndanenakale, for development to happen, there is need for power, which is resting in the hands of who? Politicians. And the plan for the country is there. The manifesto were forced to be aligned by law. Now question do not munane na manifesto mwanu kuti mujida zimene vision ikupanga ndezi zimene zikuchitika zizukhala no banja and take them to task. All right, the role of private sector no immediate never address national. Okay, china chimene mfuna, you said a very important thing akuti kuli National Audit Commission. How many of us knew about this institution? And how prepared are we as a civil society to work with this new institution, even if we never enforce or to encourage citizen engagement? So pena bange ife also tukweneka titenge chani kodi responsibility. Boma likamapanga create ma enabling environment. Let's jump on them, to leverage on them, and make sure that we are keeping traction with whatsoever is happening in the space. Ndinakakonda kuti civil society tiyambe kupanga ma plan kunena kuti how are we engaging with these arms of government to make sure that they also see kuti ife tikuona zimene akuchita ndipo tifuna kuti asinthe. Malamulo amayambisidwa tu phokoso la malamulo kuti sinthe pakuti amayambisa ninda civil society. Parliamentarians will not come up with the law. They will come up with what you guys are recommending, but it has to be based on analysis, on substance, and on facts. Tukuika lamulo ili chifukwa cha zifukwa easy, so that as they debate, they are debating on what is substance, not just noise. Taona kuti Mungu panga zakuti. Let us learn to create aspiration number 2 of Malawi 2063, to create a knowledge-based economy. What does that mean? It means every decision must be based on what? Evidence. And not only evidence, but credible evidence. Not here say, tangona pa WhatsApp, amusankha kuti, amusankhira zandali. Okay, let's create evidence for that. Follow through the recruitment process. It's your job. It's my job, of course. But of course, if you but it's your job as civil society. Out of Ujanchan. Find out. There is Access to Information Act, which grants you the, and if you don't, make noise in the media. The media played a big role in even determining the course of action. And that's the power of civil society, which we are not harnessing. So ndimafuna nditsimikizire pamene popo kunena kuti ndi udindo wathu ndithu. Issue ya okay, education system has betrayed us. We see opportunities, but we do not take risks. So I mean, this was a comment. Issue ndio nina kuti education system yatipanga betray koma nkhani ndio nina kuti kwapangidwa review curriculum. Si choncho? Now, what is our job now as civil society on the reviewed curriculum? Okay, how many of us were consulted on that? Hands up. I mean, munamvapo kuti kupangidwa curriculum review. Okay, one, two. He's a stakeholder, so he was not consulted. But one, then munomo mulimozi. How many of us knew kunena kuti kumachitika ntchito ya curriculum review? Tinamvapo? Okay, how many of us have actually taken an interest to question kuti zikuenda bwanji za curriculum review? Not as an individual, but as an organization, as an office. Tikudikirira zikazamba kupangidwa implement ndeti zambe kupanga maphokoso. Wrong. And that's not Malawi 2063. We should start at the very initial stages. Ngati china chake chikuchitika and civil society is not aware about it. Question. Get yourself, dip your feet into it and try to provide your input into that process. Panopa nimafuna nene kuti mene amaliza ma consultation now mwanoti kupita kumapeto, meaning to say it might even go kuti chipita ku parliament kuti akapanga Minister of Education ikawa.
Yeah, it will be a cabinet.
It will be cabinet. So before it goes to cabinet, how can we, and by the way, he is here. How many of us did engage with him on that? So my issues are meant to kunena magai ndio nena kuti tichokepo pa mindset yoma zamba kuyankhula zinthu zizazili motion kapena zikuchitika. We are missing out on that. We are alipompano. Let's provide our input and panopa kamasa nena kuti akupita ku cabinet. Before it goes to cabinet, check as civil society kodi chichidi ichi ma values amene kuti khala entrepreneurship kena kuzenja marjan zothandizira zichi entrepreneurship, risky chan are those the things that we are worried with as a country? Critical thinking, are those the things that we are worried as a country? Konena kuti ana anu panopa mukamabereka aziphunzira zimenezo zithandiza. That's our job. So before we begin to question, let's also do some background deep digging on what we should expect to see in that space. Change in mindset, I think the culture of receiving. What is the commission doing? If you look at, so the commission inapangidwa ndima mandate awiri. Act ya 2017, okay, by the way, I want to recommend makosana chifafunso ina inabwera mafunso ambiri wona mukupanga chani. It is because you do not know the functions of the commission. So I want to strongly recommend kuti mupite pa Google mukaipeza. Please John, let us be an information people. Ineyo ndikamanga presentation anga ena ndimango Google nkuona what articles, what research has happened around that area. I've taught myself to do that. 2 GB in the 1,500 watch. Yeah, data. And it is not for you to pass on my messages all kapena maskando amena kuchita. It's also to help you learn more. Use that. Sitting kind of data must fall kuti tizitumiza zitunzo laula. No. Data must fall so that information must what? Flow like water. And it will not just flow automatically. It has to be an interest on your part. So let's research on this. What do I say? Mupite pa Google, mupange search the National Planning Commission Act of 2017. Imene napanga establish. Then mukaone, 1, what is its mandate? What are the core functions? What are the responsibilities? Very important. Chifukwa zimene zikufusidwa zikungondonesa kuti kwambiri ma institutions ambiri aboma achina PPDA onsewa sitimadziwa kuti ntchito yawo yeniyeni ndi chani. Koma akakhala kuti china chake chikulakwika, that's when you begin to make noise. Sichikuthandiza ichi. Go and find out first. Kodi institution hii inapangidwa create, what was the rationale for it? Then mafuna ningotsimikizira motere. I'm not trying to be defensive. National Planning Commission Act of 2017 ikunena kuti there should be a National Planning Commission with 2 key mandates. 1, craft the country's medium to long-term development, socio-economic development plan or framework. That one we delivered on it. And you were consulted when we were doing the vision, because now we have a vision document in place and we have its operationalizing strategy. Clear? 50% done, right? The second one was to oversee. The reason why you see me sitting here and making this presentation is to hear what you guys are talking about, because that's part of oversight. Mamawa, I was with the UN guys as well. Oversight again. Zulo, Masana, we were with a few MDAs and also UN agencies and development partners, GIZ and the like. Oversight. We want to make sure whatsoever is happening is in line with the vision and responding to what Malawians are wanting. So we are doing that. Are we optimal? No. There's a lot that can be done. Now, that lot that can be done has to be done within our mandate. Because if we also tikapitirira mandate yatu, tiponda ufa wandani kodi, wantu ena. My institution, ifeyo, our job is not to implement the vision. No, you are the one implementing the vision. If ntchito yatu ndiyo ngoti, mu implementation ya vision, document yake ndi. Kodi zikuchitika kapena sizikuchitika, nchifukwa chani. Ngati zikuchitika, good. Sizikuchitika, akupangisa kuti sachitike ni ndani. So that's analysis. That's why ndimakupasa budget analysis, jet? So the next question is, we engage with those. Simukuchita chifukwa chani. But we do not have, now I'm getting to your question, we do not have the power to sanction. If you want, try make noise about it, change the law, so the National Planning Commission can sanction MDAs. So before you start talking about organization, it's okay, we can kick it out, but you should understand. Akuti anyani munaumba mwambi umene jet. Anyani ataona kuti chaka chimenecho mwaiona pamene jet. Chaka chimenecho mulimi uja. Sorry. Pali story yoneyote anyani amamuthamangisa mulimi akabwera kuti akamathamangisa akamaba chimanga chake. Story imene tikwaziwa anyani tonse. Ndipo tikuzoti nyani amaba chimanga. Si choncho. Nde mulimi uja amati akabwera amapha anyani aja. So they gathered akutipweteka akuti kanikisa kudya chani kodi chimanga, right? So they decided to kill the farm. When they killed the farmer, what happened? The next season, there was no what? So, the Nyanis did not think deep. The proper way was to negotiate with the farmer. Amwene mugamalima, chabu nefetiro yoti ziyang'anira so chimangachi. Kuma muzidura tizitani now, tizija. So, what is important is deeper what? Understanding and deeper analysis of what each one of us is doing in the space. In so doing, because we might end up killing the farmer who is producing the what, God? The maize. And I'm not saying we shouldn't kill the farmer. Did I say so? Let us kill the farmer. If we want to kill the farmer, let us kill the farmer. Nangamesa farmer agutipera anatu. Kuma tizoti tikapha farmer, there's a possibility chaka chama chimanga sijitani God, sijikalako. So, what am I trying to drive at? Let us dig deep to understand the government institutions. Nchito ya ndiyo chani. Kwa nenedwa nkani yonena kuti ifeyo mu oversight role yathu tikuona anthu kunena kuti akumangolandira fetereza ntukula pakomo. When you look at the framing of these documents, these programs, mukaona kuti the reasons and the strategies are convincing. Look at social protection program. Don't we need social protection in this country? Don't we? We do need it. Don't we need subsidies? By the way, go to Germany and talk about subsidies. Go to South Africa. Nkani ama landi South Africa, it's also triggering on the issues of subsidies. White farmers are heavily subsidized because they're the ones who are running the what? The economy. So, issue, how do we repurpose these vehicles and interventions to save what we want? So issue ikhala na kuti noti ameneta apasa ntchito kuti agwire azimene zizi tingathandize bwanji kuti agwire ntchito imoyenerera. I know kunena kuti subsidies have been all those stories, it's politicized and so on and so forth. The question should be, how do we depoliticize the subsidies? And that's a conversation to have. Ndanena kale tipanyani koma tikapanyani chimanga chaka chama sichitani kuti. We can say do away with subsidies. We will be the first ones to say koma guys, the issue is how we should implement these kind of programs. And that boils on not only on government machinery. It boils on every one of us to comment, discuss. Constituency Development Fund, okay, so have you guys done an assessment of the so as this thing is gravitating Kumagwera, what study has been there to look? Okay. Inamba ndi 2 million. Okay. Basi mwayankhula kale ine ndi nthawi yanga kuti ndiyankhule. Inamba kuti ndi 3 million. 2 million. Kenako mwina 5 million. Kenako anangonyamuka ili pachani kuti 50 million kandi 100 million. 40 million. Kenako 100 million. Kenako 200 million. Pano yafika pacha? Where have you 5 billion? My question is, what have you guys been saying about it? Before you answer that question, have we done an analysis to see the need for increasing this to that level? Have we? As a civil society. What are we doing? Lamenting, ndrama ikuchuluka. Tikudandala tikuchuluka, chifukwa kuti pansipa siti kutani kodi. Siti kuona zimene ndrama ikupanga chani kodi. Transform. Am I right about that? So, what should happen? What you are dealing with are politicians, and we know who they are and what they do. Perhaps we should begin to think, why can mipando imene yoma kweza ma 5 billion ni ndani kodi? Tizia nkana makosana. Simunakavota kumaika, okay. Maika pa ma status zala zanu zitada chonchi. Si chonchi? So issue ndio nena kuti pena pake tu anthufe tikuyeneka tikhale serious with our own selves first. Mene ndrama imakhala kukwera chonchi. What have we been talking about it? Who did we engage? Where are we sitting with that? That's a point of reflection. So all I'm trying to put across is, as we question the oversight role of institutions, one, let us understand what they are allowed to do and what they are not allowed to do. Two, take them to task on what they are allowed to do and they are not what? Doing. And let us also do that with the element of trying to make sure that we are forcing or encouraging optimal functionality of government institutions. For National Planning Commission, we delivered on the first one. Now we are on the oversight role. That's why ndikukupasani budget review. Munkaziona izizi? Tandiyankeni, mumaziona izozo? Did you know kunena kuti Malawi, okay, Vision 2020, amene munaiona ko Vision 2020 ndiyangati muno? Was that kind of analysis done on Vision 2020? Okay. So now we have it. The issue is when we have that information, how do we run with it? And that is not for National Planning Commission only. It's everyone. If tikapeza ma misalignment ngata manager, we see the treasury. Pano sakufuna apange midterm review. Atilembera kale kalata. Why do you think they're writing the kalata? They know that we have a role to play on that. But our role is only restricted to strict alignment to the vision. Strict alignment to MIP1. We cannot sanction treasury. Am I asking that we should sanction treasury? No, our act doesn't say so. It is going to be you who will think whether that is necessary or not. And it may not be the National Planning Commission to do that role. It could be another institution. So let us understand the architecture, the structures, the functions, the mandates of institutions so that we can hold them to account fully on what they are doing and what they are not doing. Have we been receiving a lot of money as a commission? Well, like all other government entities, government has been struggling with money, so we also have struggled. Our development partners have been supporting us to run even this kind of analysis. It's not only government that has supported this. There are development partners who also want to see how the budget shares are operating in the space. Are we doing optimal? Now, that's a question for you to judge. It's not for me to say, ine ndizikogera. Si choncho? Ndinota ife tukira ntchito. Drama zimene akutipasa actually ndizochepa, koma we are able to do a lot on what we are expected to do. But you guys now have to go and examine. And it's not only National Planning Commission. It's immigration. It's treasury. It's Anti-Corruption Bureau. It's the Office of the Ombudsman. It's all those institutions of government that should be put on a radar to be examined how they are performing. And that is your role. Nankunu nkama zifanye kangati. Tukutalako lima nunkangati. Hai. Tukutalako siri nunka. Si choncho? Koma lima mununkira ndani. Lima mununkira wina. Si choncho? Okay, ndana amenanga ime pano unena kuti ndikununka tukuta. Nde ukadziwa. Do you go about making noise about it? You just treat it by yourself, isn't it? Yeah. So nankunu kasadzimva eka ndepa kufunika anthu amuze kuti achimwene katanini kasambeni. So you do that. But as you do that, understand what we are able to do and what we are not able to. I'm not sure whether you're recording me or not. Okay. All right. No, naiona kamera. But that's fine. I'm already on the air, so that's okay. Yeah. But in case you needed to seek permission. Yeah. All right, I'm just joking about that. All right, so that's about social protection. Resistance when civil society engage DPs. Okay, have we gone into the analysis of why these government structures and institutions resist? Have we done that? Hello? Can we do that? Because we say that civil society is what arm of government? It's the fourth, isn't it? So it means they recognize you. Actually, akamapanga ma speech or ma salutations. They even say members of the fourth estate. So why should we not engage with them? So this is something that we must try to look into. And the issue is the point of engagement and the subject matter of engagement and the material which we should engage on. So let's have facts. It should not just be on WhatsApp. It should not be coming from social media. It should be coming from what we have analyzed. Because when you sit the Home Minister, is interested to listen to you on that. Issue, has there been an introspection about NPC? Yes, midterm review it's also to examine ourselves. How have we delivered on our mandate? But the critical one is the oversight one. So we are also working into that. And in the report, we are going to say what we are going to improve based on what we have done. By the way, there's going to be an independent evaluation, which is going to involve some of you guys to comment on. So yeah, that part is going to be handled. People have created a norm that in government they can just work a few hours. Again, studies should come out and we take this, you engage with the commission, we run together with you as civil society to take this thing to task. Let's do that. As a commission, we can also do that, right? But we need to run together on this. Okay? If you believe I believe that happens, but we need to substantiate that with a credible source of analysis and evidence. But it should also go beyond that. Manena kuti kwapangidwa recruit anthu ambiri. What has been the return to investment on that? I know that UNDP has that done study. Whether they are sharing that, I don't know. But the issue is we can do that analysis. Look at the wage bill and see wage bill versus what? Output in the context and analyze. As a commission, we'll be interested to join hands with that. We can as well work on that concept note to make sure that our human capital is optimally functioning to deliver. So this one is the point taken. We will definitely engage on that. Relationship between parties. All right. So when you look at the Political Parties Act, Political Parties Act, iya manifesto was an amendment. Before any party runs into an election, they should make sure that their vision aligns. And the National Planning Commission certifies. That is where the Act stops. The Act says we should certify, and we did. Beyond that, it is now the citizenry. Because akamapita kumisonkhano imene amati kopera ija manena kuti actually manifesto yathu a commission aitani kodi aivomereza. So when they were doing that, they were giving you a chance to say you can trust on us that we are going to deliver on what you want. Because even the current government machinery imene ikupanga zama manifesto yavomereza. The question now is for the citizenry to take the political parties to what? Task. And how do you take them to task? See, a manifesto is aligned to the vision. Question whether what they are doing now is according to the vision. That's where you come in. Got it also? And it borders on understanding what the National Planning Commission can do and what it cannot do. We will only work within the confines of our mandate and by the law of the country. Tito 7 human capital. Have we done an analysis if this is imminent young? There are unqualified people, so that goes into all those kind of things. Tikamapanga analysis ya human resource in civil service or public service, are they qualified? We look at the recruitment procedures. Was it done according to what the process states? Because if you go to DHRMD, akakuza ndondomeko zimene magwirisa ntchito tikamapanga recruit anthu ndi easy. Fusolano ndonyo kuti pa anthu amene mwaona kuti alwa mbomamo mopanda ndondomeko. Anagwirisa ntchito ndondomeko imeneyo, and you can take them to task. And if you have got credible evidence, the law applies. So this is how I can, in a nutshell, respond to the observations. But the bottom line of it all is, one, let us get into a culture of knowing things. Two, let us get into a culture of engaging. Three, let us get into a culture of questioning whatsoever has been agreed to be done, but it is not happening. But as we question, let us all offer what? Solutions. The civil society is the fourth arm of the state. It means the state will not function optimally without the civil society. So let us work together on that journey. I thank you.
The responses and the questions are not targeted at killing the farmer. We want the farmer around. I think I came in a bit late yesterday, but I think what you shared was very provocative, that there's been an action point already done from your presentation on what this group will do in this space because of the challenges you brought. But you recognize we have a lot of white elephant projects, and you already gave example of even Vision 2020. We can't have a repeat, and that's why some of the questioning would come in that lining. But otherwise, there's a lot of value added from you. But as you are holding us accountable, we are also holding you accountable. And also looking at the fact, like you said, what is oversight? How are they interpreting oversight? If you can't bite, why do we have a bulldog there? Maybe you should be given some powers to bite, because they will structure the mandate in such a way that you are working, but at the end of the day, your work is not complete because you are not really taking them to task. And yet you know the things most better than the general citizenry. So we need the farmer around. Thank you.
For the very last time, let's offer a very big clap for Dr. Tamari. Yeah, this has been very informative and very interactive. Thank you so very much, Doctor. You are always at our disposal whenever we need you. So don't get tired with us. We'll keep knocking at your door and also see how best we can also participate in the review that is coming. If you need our participation, our structured participation, not just participation for the sake of it, would want a structured way of participating and doing the analysis together and see how best now we can move forward as we implement the remaining part of the tenure for the MIP1. So thank you so very much. Our regards to the new Director General. We also look forward to engage with him at some point. Yeah, thank you so very much. We have 2 items to close. One is the putting in place of the task team, and then the last one is lunch. For the presentation from TJNA, we've agreed that we can all connect online wherever we'll be. But if we do lunch, if we do the task team and then we do lunch, we can call it a day. So how do we proceed? Lunch has been led since noon, since 12, and then I need suggestions how we should proceed. Okay, that's the proposal. Any seconders, or are we all? Yeah? Oh, okay.
Stands as an autonomous faith-based broadcaster with a national and international reach. Experience the difference with Luntha Television, where innovation meets experience. Our dedicated team, backed by cutting-edge technology, ensures seamless execution and unparalleled results. Luntha guarantees credibility and professionalism in all its endeavors and services. We offer, among this, production and broadcasting of jingles, music videos, narratives,